In this video, we will set up a MikroTik server on Hetzner cloud provider with two different methods. Hello, I'm Ramtin and this is NetAdminHub. Here, we talk about computers, networking, and technology every week. If you find this interesting, please support me by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's get started with setting up a MikroTik server on Hetzner. I'm in the Hetzner Cloud console. It's very easy to create and activate Hetzner account. Hetzner allows to create projects for better organization, and by default, it provides a project named default. I won't use another one because I already have several servers in the default project, so it'll create a test project. I click on Add Project and enter this project. Now I can create a server here. I click on Add Server, and here I need to select some options. I can set the location here. Let it be Finland. There are also 2 data centers in Germany and 2 in the US. Based on your location, consider to select locations that you can have better latency. Further down, I can select my operating system image. As you can see, MikroTik RouterOS is not here. In the Apps tab, there are some pre-configured images, but again, MikroTik RouterOS is not here. Let's go back to the OS Images tab and select Ubuntu 22. I scroll down and select the CPU type. I could choose dedicated vCPU, but it's much more expensive and we don't need that since MikroTik doesn't need a lot of resources. So I'll leave it as shared vCPU. Here I can choose the CPU architecture, either x86 or ARM. ARM offers much better performance, but we would need to install the ARM version of the OS as well. So I'll select x86. Here, I need to allocate resources as well. I'll go with the minimum required. 1 CPU core, 2 GB of RAM, 20 GB of SSD storage, and 20 terabytes of monthly traffic, which is a really good amount. Scrolling down, I can configure networking. We need IPv4 for server communication and for IPv6. Well, since it's offering IPv6 for free, let's keep it enabled. Here, I need to add an SSH key here. In MikroTik, the default user is not root, so it's essential to add an SSH key here. I'll click Add and enter my system's public SSH key here. It's very easy to create SSH key on your Windows, Mac, or Linux. Just search about it and you can create one. Anyway, here I copy my public key and then paste it into the Add New SSH Key section in the Hetzner panel. I named it Ramtin and clicked Add SSH. I selected this as well. I could add a volume, but it's not really necessary. MikroTik doesn't require much storage. We also don't need a firewall since we can use MikroTik's built-in firewall configuration. But using its firewall is a good idea. Backups come with an extra cost, but I can use scripts specifically for MikroTik backups. Guys, I've also made a video about this. The link is in the description so you can check it out. I can also set a group and a label for better categorization. Here, I can configure the cloud settings as well, but we'll discuss that in the next step. As mentioned, we will do this in 2 ways, so let's not talk about it now. I'll name the server Test1 and create it. You can see that the server has been created. I copy the IP address and go to the terminal or CMD. Then I use root about our server address. Here, I need to confirm the fingerprint. Since I had this IP before, I need to remove it from my Windows known hosts. I completely clear the known hosts. I confirm the fingerprint once and now I'm logged into the server we created on Hetzner. I clear the screen and using Ctrl and L. Here I can run cat etc os release, or I could have used cat etc os release. Both commands would give me the same information. See, I have Ubuntu 22. I want to install MikroTik RouterOS using Linux commands with the first method. Let's close this directory. I have a directory in this zip file, which is available on the Telegram channel. You can to download it. Here, I can use the commands needed to install MikroTik RouterOS on a Linux server. The first step is to download it and save it with a name. Then I extract it. I take this image, and then using this command, I write it on the server's disk and convert it. There's nothing to edit but just the disk name. So let's first check the link and go to the MikroTik website. Guys, when I go to the software section, I can download MikroTik RouterOS, but let's check this. We need MikroTik cloud-hosted router. It's the version that MikroTik provides for installation on VPS and cloud servers. Here, I need the raw disk image, which has an .img extension. Right here, I can right-click and select Copy Link Address, then return here. Let's paste it here as it is. The current stable version is 6.49, so we'll leave it as is. Now, I copy this and paste it into the server terminal. Alright, the download is complete. If I run ALS, you can see that the zip file is here, Now I extract it using the gunzip command. Now if I run ls, you can see that our image file is here. Now with this final command, I use dd command to write it onto the disk and convert it. And now you can see it's done. I just need to reboot the server. After waiting a few seconds, RouterOS will be up and running. Just one important note, guys, you need to log into the server very quickly and set a password. If you don't, there are some scripts constantly scanning for public IPs and attacking them, so they can log into your server and change admin password. The server hasn't fully booted yet, so let's wait a few seconds for it to boot up. And now it has booted. Now it's giving me a prompt asking to set a password. I'm just going to set a password for it. I set a simple password here. By the way, it's recommended to create another user here besides the admin. Then make sure your password is correct before deleting the admin user. But here, we still don't have even the minimum security. Within a few seconds, an attack can start as soon as we log in. They usually do this with the SSH protocol. I disable the SSH protocol telnet and any other unnecessary services. You can find this under the IP menu in the Services submenu. I select these and disable them. Now I have at least the minimum required security. It would have been better to change these two ports as well, but it's not necessary right now. Anyway, next I need to configure my firewall. So, that was the first method we did this using Linux commands, and the installation was completed. Now, let's move on to the second method, which involves using cloud config. Let's create a new server. Here, I set the location to Nuremberg. This part doesn't really matter much. As for the OS image, it's not important either. Guys, let's set the type to the shared vCPU, again using the minimum required resources. I won't touch the other settings. Here, I select SSH, and now let's move on to the next step. Cloud configs. So the video doesn't get too long, this config file is already prepared here. You can download it from the Telegram channel and simply copy-paste it to get everything set up easily. Let me also include this version 7.8. Alright, let's copy it. First, let me clear the existing content. And there we go. Now I can copy and paste it. Click on Create Server. And while the server is being set up, let me give you a quick explanation. What happens here is that the server is created with Ubuntu 22, which was automatically selected. Once it boots up, the same process we followed in the first method runs in the background automatically. The server then reboots and MikroTik starts up. Now let me explain what this file is. This is a YAML file, which is a markup language used for data serialization. Something similar to the JSON format if you're familiar with it. Now, take a look here. The commands that are ultimately executed follow the same process as the first method. You can see that it performs a get to download the file, then extracts it, writes it using the dd command, and finally reboots the system. However, this method is much faster and simpler. Another important thing is we don't use this cloud config just for these tasks. Sometimes you might want to apply specific configurations to your server. For example, installing a Linux distribution and setting up an OpenVPN server, OpenConnect, or anything else. Instead of manually setting up the server and configuring everything yourself, you just write this YAML file once. Then, when creating the server from the panel and once the server is deployed, all the configurations are automatically applied. You won't have to deal with manual configurations anymore. Somehow you're automating the process. So, we've already done this, and by now it should be completed. Alright, let's move on to Winbox. Let's open new Winbox, enter IP, and yes, the server is up. Let's quickly set a password on it, check the IP services, and disable these ports. The final step is to review the MikroTik license. Go to the System menu and then the License submenu. The license is free. That's not enough at all. Take a look at this. It's a MikroTik CHR license. When I search for this and open it, it shows me the different CHR license options. By default, it gives us a free license which only provides 1 megabit per second bandwidth on this server. It's not even useful for personal use. The P1 license, which offers 1 gigabit, costs $45, and the P10 license, which provides 10 gigabit, costs $95. But MikroTik also gives a 60-day trial, and there's an interesting point about it that I'll mention later. Now, how do we use the trial license? It's simple. You just need to have a user account on the MikroTik website. You can create an account from here and click on Register. Once you've created and activated your account, all you need to do is come back here in Winbox. Go to the License section under System here. Click on Generate New ID, then select Yes, and after that click on Renew License. Here, you need to enter your MikroTik account username and password. Now, I can choose the license level, P10, P1, or even P Unlimited. I'll set it to P10 and start. Alright, now look, my license is no longer free, it's P10. This means I can now have up to 10 gigabits of bandwidth. Of course, it depends on how much bandwidth the host server provides, but either way, I no longer have any restrictions. Even if I get just 1 gigabit, that's still great, and the bandwidth issues will be resolved. The point I mentioned earlier is, although MikroTik says the trial lasts for 60 days, if you don't upgrade your router, it doesn't expire. I currently have servers that have been running on the trial version for several months, and they haven't expired or faced any bandwidth limitations. But if this does happen to you, don't worry, it's not a big deal. You can simply click on Generate New ID again, select Yes, and then click on Renew License here. Enter your username and password and start the process. Your license will be reactivated for another trial period. Alright guys? You can use the first method, which involves Linux commands, on most server providers to install MikroTik. Just run the lsblk command on your Linux system to check the name of your disk. In most cases, it will be either SDA or VDA. If it's SDA, like on Hetzner, it's usually SDA. But you may need to change it before running. That's all. Thank you. I'm Ramtin. This is NetAdminHub. If you find this video useful, I'd really appreciate your support by subscribing. Your support gives me the energy and motivation to keep going. On the Telegram channel, which is linked in the description, scripts, downloadable files, and additional tutorials are shared. You can join through below link. On Instagram, I also try to cover and discuss tech and IT-related news. If you're interested, you can follow me there as well. Thank you all. Take care. See you in next video. Bye.